ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming tonight. My name is Paula Penchenko, and I'm delighted to welcome you all here. Tandem Press and the Jazz Studies program at the Mead Witter School of Music at the University of Wisconsin-Madison are pleased to present the 9th year of the Tandem Press Jazz Series. And we're delighted to welcome you, our audience, here, and those of you who are listening to us live on the web. This series is made possible by the incredible support of the Friends of Tandem Press, and live streaming is brought to you by Audio for the Arts and Microtone. Now, this program could not have happened without Johannes Wallman, the John and Carolyn Peterson Chair in Jazz Studies, and his colleagues Peter Dominguez, Chad McCullough, Nick Moran, Chris Rothmeyer, and Les Thimick. I also want to thank the incredible music students who will be playing for you tonight. The program will feature the Afro-Cuban Jazz Ensemble, directed by Nick Moran, and the Contemporary Jazz Ensemble, directed by Chad McCullough in the second half. During the intermission, we hope that you will view our latest exhibition entitled Seasonal Selections, which was curated by our curators, Mishka Lewis, who is actually sitting back there on a chair, and Sona Pastel Danishkar. So please feel free to stroll through our studio and see the prints in progress. Look at the exhibition, and there will be a short piece, there will be a short discussion, during the intermission. All of these programs go up on YouTube afterwards, so especially for the students, if you want to tell your parents or your family that you are now going to be playing on YouTube, they can see what you're doing and how successful you have all been. Okay, with that, I'm going to get out of everybody's hair. I'm going to turn this over to the maestro, Nick Moran.
One more time for Paula Panchenko and the wonderful folks here at Tandem Press. Happy Friday, everybody. I don't know where to stand for this. Let me come back here. There we go. How we doing? How we feeling today? It's Friday. You're here for some live music. These are working really hard on to present this music for you. A lot of the students that come to this ensemble are totally new to this style, and so this fall semester we've been working on a variety of different styles of Cuban music, including mambo, bolero. And so you'll get... All right. Use this one? Yeah? All right. How about that? Okay, there we go. So we're going to start with mambo, because that's actually where the Latin craze started here in the United States. This style of mambo took the United States by storm, became a dance craze, and one of the leaders of that dance craze was the great Pérez Prado. So we're going to start with two of his compositions. He has a lot of great names for his tunes, but for these, I don't know. He maybe wasn't inspired for song titles. So we're going to do Mambo number 5 and Mambo number 8 as well. Now you can see why the craze happened, because it's some amazing music. And, you know, again, all the music we're playing tonight is dance music. And Tandem Press has cleared me to say that you can dance here. This is a great art space, so we have music, we have visual art, and why not add dance to the mix? So if you feel like it, there is a little bit of room. Feel free. Students would enjoy it. This next tune is probably one of the most classic Cuban compositions of all time. It is a beautiful song, and so, you know, when we introduce this music, you know, we got to start with the greats and the old stuff too. So this is a tune entitled Lágrimas Negras. That's a lot of fun. And you know, crowd participation is a thing, so feel free to sing along or clap or anything. This next tune is or dance. They hear me say this a lot. Before I forget, you know, we have actually performed this music already at the Hamill Center earlier in this semester, and it's really nice to be able to do this again in such an intimate setting here. But we have a whole nother slot of music that we've been working on coming up for our concert on December 4th at the Hamill Center in Collins Hall. And we have a very special guest, a master Afro-Cuban percussionist, Yorvanis Duran, that'll be accompanying us. We're really doing more folkloric music on this time, so please join us December 4th for our final concert of the semester. But we have warm music for you now. We're going to slow it down a little bit, and again, so couples dancing is encouraged here, and do a bolero. Boleros are Cuban ballads, and I recently, with a former student of this ensemble, we started a bolero night here in Madison. Our next one is next Tuesday at the Cardinal Bar, or 2 Tuesdays at the Cardinal Bar. And it's incredible to see how intergenerational this music is. A lot of people grew up, you know, hearing these boleros, you know, playing on the radio while their grandparents were, you know, doing chores around the house, and it still is really profound music. And so we picked one of the most classic boleros out there. This is a tune entitled Sabor a Mi. How about it for Pratik Tandem on the tenor saxophone? On alto, William Brzezinski. I didn't say that right. Over here on trumpet, Mr. Will Kelly. In his last Tandem Press appearance, he's graduating this semester. How about it for Daniel Hintzman on trumpet? Our rhythm section, Isaiah Dobbins on piano. Sporting the new baby bass bought by UW-Madison for this ensemble. How about it for Shannon Finn? And the man all by his lonesome, doing the heavy lifting for this ensemble. How about it for Scott Lanzaga? You want to see the bass? Yeah, look at this beautiful. This is a Ray Ramirez, which is a independent maker in Puerto Rico that custom made this bass for UW-Madison. And it's amazing to have this in the ensemble, and it really helps with the sound. And yeah, props to not only Peter Dominguez, but also we have a new director of our School of Music, Dan Kavanaugh, and definitely the School of Music is going in some new directions, and it's very exciting. So make sure you come to all of our performances and see how we're developed over these years. We have one more song for you, but stick around. There's another wonderful ensemble coming, under the direction of Chad McCullough, and they have a special guest as well. And this, of course, stick around for the tour of this wonderful gallery. Can we give one more round of applause for Tandem Press and their staff? We'd also like to thank our wonderful sound and video crew from Audio for the Arts. Can we give them a round of applause? Yeah, yes. So we're going to end again. We started the semester learning about mambo, and we you have to talk about Perez Prado, but the other great in the mambo world is the great Tito Puente, and so we're going to end with a tune by Tito Puente. This is entitled Ran Can Can, which is not Spanish. It is just the sounds that the timbales make. We don't have timbales, but so Scott's going to do his best on the drum kit for this one. Yeah. I mean, the school does own them. We haven't incorporated them yet into this ensemble. So this is our version of Ran Can Can, and this is your last chance to dance for this one. So get it in while you can. Yeah. Thank you so much. We are the UW Afro-Cuban Jazz Ensemble. I'm Nick Moran. Thank you for coming out and supporting live music here in your community. Stick around. We have a wonderful ensemble coming up next. And yeah, buenas noches, everybody. Oh, and here is Paula Panchenko.
Okay, everybody. Oh, my God, that was amazing. We have people downstairs watching us live on TV as well. So everybody can see you. And those people who are at home, they can hear you as well. And I hope they're all watching. And if they can't, YouTube. Go on YouTube in a couple of weeks when we have it loaded up. Okay, now please enjoy the gallery and our new exhibitions, and please enjoy the studio. All the staff are waiting for you, ready and willing to answer any question about printmaking. And I do want to remind everybody, we have one more jazz concert in December, early December, and our holiday open house on December 2nd. So there will be live demonstrations that day, starting at 11. Sorry, I ran from one side of the studio to the other. So I need to exercise more. Here you are, Noah. I mean, sorry.
One more time for Paula. So stick around. We got a lot more great art happening, and thank you again.
Well, we're at intermission at this Tandem Press Jazz concert. I have got the opportunity to talk to two curators. Are you two of the curators, or are you the two curators? Are there others?
The two curators.
The two curators at Tandem Press. Sona Pastel-Danishkar and Mishka Lewis. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So let's start out by talking about this thing that's coming up on December 2nd. It's the Holiday Open House. And either one of you can start, but what does this involve, and what can people look forward to?
Yeah, so it's our annual holiday open house. We do it every year.
That's a good way to do it. That's my favorite way to do an annual thing.
Yeah. And it's a really great event. It's from 10 to 4, and it's a combination of, kind of traditional open house where we just open our doors to the community, which we are open to the public, but we like to do something like this on a weekend because we are only open during the week. So people can come in and browse prints by over 100 artists that we've collaborated with since 1987. But we also feature printmaking demonstrations in our studio. So people who, if they can't make it during the week to see Tandem, they have an opportunity to see our collaborative printmakers actually making prints in the studio and seeing that sort of process come alive.
Wow, that would be really fun to see. Now, how big a process is that, Mishka? So like when I'm going to show you how to make a print. Is that something we're going to watch this person for 10 minutes or 9 hours? Or I mean, it seems to me it's not an instantaneous thing, right?
Definitely not instantaneous. They are about a half hour to 45-minute demonstrations. So we'll be doing 3 of them throughout the day. At 11 o'clock, we'll start with solar plate intaglio printing with our printer, Jason. And this is a sort of new media version of a very traditional process of etching. So he uses solar plates that are sensitive to UV light to create textures on the plate that will hold ink that then are used to print and transfer that ink to paper. Following that, at 11:45, Patrick is going to demonstrate screen printing. And this is sort of one of the most common printmaking processes that people can visualize and are familiar with.
This is what we'd call the traditional way of doing it, right?
Yeah. I mean, screen printing is you have a screen. It's a very fine mesh that you use different techniques to apply stencils to that so that only allows the ink to go through in certain areas to print on whatever substrate is underneath. So a lot of T-shirts are screen printed, but that's done on a very different scale than what we do in our studio. And Patrick has done some very challenging screen print projects the last couple of years with a few of our artists printing on different materials and printing up to like 60, 70 layers on something. So he's got some special things to share with people that attend. And then following that at 12:30, Joe is going to show how to do puzzle cut woodblock printing. And woodcut or relief printing is also something that our people are familiar with. I did linoleum cut things in high school art class, so that's where a lot of people have an entranceway to that. So with the puzzle cut wood block printing, instead of carving things out of the wood, they can use a jigsaw. We use a laser engraver to cut puzzle pieces out of a wood block in different shapes. So you can ink up multiple blocks at the same time in different colors, piece them back together, and then run them through the press and print all of those different colors at the same time.
Wow, that's really cool.
A lot going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And one sort of cool thing that the printers are going to do is that instead of each of them working on a separate image and showing these processes sort of in isolation, they're going to build on each other. So after Jason prints the solar plate in Talio, Patrick is going to screen print on top of that image, and then Joe will then wood block print on top of that as well. So like this is something we do in our studio, or we as in the printers, is they're often mixing techniques and materials when they're working with the artists that come in. And so we wanted to be able to share that part with people that will be attending the open house.
Yeah. And
That's really cool. So is this improvised? So when you say, so Printer 2 is going to build on what Printer 1 did, does that mean that is there any pre-planning involved, or is it totally improvised? Like Printer 2 is just going to see what Printer 1 did and then just go, okay, I have an idea of, is it that kind of thing?
No, so they will need to plan out what they're going to be printing in advance, because you know, carving the blocks, that for say the puzzle cut section, that will take a while to carve all the different pieces out.
Yeah.
So we don't want people standing around just kind of like, oh, okay, I guess we'll watch them carve another block and for another 20 minutes.
Okay.
And then
See, I was thinking that your printers have spent so much time around jazz now that they're actually doing improv in themselves.
Yeah.
I think that would be pretty cool.
It is improv in a way, but it does have to have some planning in advance.
Okay.
So in order for everything to line up properly when they're done.
In these light sensitive plates that you're talking about, how does that work? Can one of you just explain, like, what does the light sensitivity do? Does it change the color or the intensity, or what does it do?
So the solar plates, it's backed by a thin metal, I think it's aluminum, and then there's a layer of polymer on that is sensitive to the UV light. And so Jason will take a film, like a clear Mylar that has areas in opaque black on that, and the black will block, the film is placed over the Mylar, and the black will block the light from touching the polymer. Okay. And so wherever the light touches the polymer, it'll be hardened. Once that is exposed, the plate will go into a machine that soaks it in water, and it has this like basically plate of brushes that comes down and very gently kind of brushes over the surface. And that removes all of the polymer that was left soft where the black ink on the film was blocking it. So the result is this plate that has textured surface, and there might be lines or like an all over kind of texture that would show up as a block of color once it's inked up. So once that plate is processed, this is where the demo will be a lot like a kitchen cooking demonstration. Yeah. Well, it'll be like, here's the unprocessed plate, here's the film, and now here it is processed, because it takes a while and it's slow. But then once the plate is done, he'll take printing ink and cart it over the surface, and that pushes the ink down into those recessed or incised lines that have been basically etched by light into the polymer. And then the surface is wiped clean, and then that gets run through a press with a piece of paper to then transfer the ink onto the paper.
Okay.
So. And
then after these demonstrations are done, will the prints actually be available to the participants, either to buy or to otherwise, get a hold of? Or is it?
Well, since we're only printing one.
You're only doing one.
Yeah, we're only doing one, but using the three processes.
Oh, I see. Okay, I thought this was something that could be done multiple times and make like 300 copies. And
so that's what editioning is. When we do create an edition in the studio with an artist, that's what we're doing. So we are printing the same image, using these different techniques over and over again, depending on the size of your edition. So say it's an edition of 30, you're printing that each layer 30 times.
Right.
If you were to do that, but in this case, we'll just have the one that's done at the end.
Just the one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, there may be a chance that there's some other prints that happen along the way. During the printing process, there might be mistakes where things don't line up correctly, or if Patrick is, he likes to show off different blends with the screen printing, and so he'll, often have a few that he can hand out. So it's a little bit of a surprise to us as well, what the printers will do.
Yeah.
Okay,
And we
terrific.
really encourage people to come and stay for all three of the demonstrations, because it's really exciting, especially seeing something start, and go all the way through to the end.
So what time, if people want to get in on all this, what time should they arrive, and how long should they plan to be there?
Yeah, so it starts at 10. The holiday open house starts at 10, but the demonstrations start at 11. So,
Okay.
If you want to get there early, we'll have some refreshments, things like that. You can browse prints while you're waiting for the demonstrations to start. Or you can do that on the other end of the demonstrations. There will be short breaks in between the two, or between the three demonstrations, but they'll really quickly, kind of 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Starting
so it's
at 11.
December 2nd.
Yep.
And so it's about 2 weeks from now. And it's from 10 a.m. until when?
4 p.m.
Till 4 p.m.
Yep.
Okay, terrific.
Yeah.
And right now, people who are either at this concert in person or people who might come in the next few days, what do you have on exhibit at this time at Tandem? Because there's always great stuff to look at.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we've got a new show up in the gallery titled Holiday Picks. Very inspired exhibition title.
Okay.
But, knowing people are going to be coming in for the holiday open house, it's often people that don't come throughout the year. And so we just wanted to have a nice sampling of a bunch of different artworks in the gallery. And people may also be doing some holiday shopping. So for people that come in, there might be some special deals.
Yep.
But we're going to have artworks by...
Oh, I like the teaser.
Yeah, you got to come in and find out.
there might be.
Yeah.
You'll only know if you come.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Depends on how nice you are to Sona and Mishka. So
Yeah.
That's right.
all right, terrific. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's absolutely great.
Yeah.
And then just for the last couple minutes, just tell me, because you both have the title curator, what do you do? Some people probably know what a curator is, others don't, but I imagine that within Tandem Press, it is a little different than if you were a curator at, say a museum or something. So what do you do other than interview with me?
Right. Well, so Tandem is a very small staff. There's only 8 of us total. With 2 curators, our director, Paula. We've got the 3 printers that we mentioned, and then we have an admin manager and a preparator. So it's a very small staff. So everyone at Tandem wears a lot of different hats in their roles. Like you said, we're not, curators in the traditional sense of if we were at a museum, something like that. Although we do curate exhibitions that go into our gallery. We also curate the exhibitions that we take out on the road when we participate in art fairs. We also, essentially design the pop-up shows that we're doing, these, mini exhibitions that are happening in art fairs all over the country. So aside from that, we do a lot of outreach. That includes social media, and it includes email newsletters, physical mailings, things like that. We also, handle sales. So if someone you come to the holiday open house and they get one of those special deals, they'll be working with one of us on that purchase.
Okay.
And then, it's, event planning and programming and things like that.
Okay.
So,
That sounds
yeah,
like
it's kind
60, 70 hours a
right?
week.
Right.
Yeah. The printers work with the artists to create the editions of prints, and then we're sort of the people that do everything to get the art out of the building into the world.
Yes.
So
Yep.
so to said, we do sales to individuals that are purchasing for their home, but also work with the advisors that may be purchasing for corporations, healthcare institutions. We've sold to museums and galleries, all sorts of different things like that. But then we also have an archive. One print from each edition is a press impression, and that's stored at Tandem. And so there's also caring for the inventory, and making sure the printing process is documented. So down the line, if the museums that did purchase from us have a question about the artwork, maybe they're doing some conservation work, we have records of how the print was created so that they can do any repairs that may be needed, or if they're other curators are doing research for their work as well. So it is very wide reaching.
Yeah,
all
it
the things
sounds
that we
like
do.
It sounds like it. Well, all the things that you guys do at Tandem really add to the quality of life in this city. I mean, but not only the all the cool visual art, but then you do these concerts, which is just an amazing thing. There's really no other place in Madison where we can hear these students really strut their stuff. So it's terrific. So thank you very much. You're always great to work with. My colleagues and I really always enjoy it. So
Likewise.
So yeah. So thank you.
Yep.
Sona Pasteldanishkar and Mishka Lewis, curators at Tandem Press. And now let's get back to the concert.
Welcome back to the second half of the concert. We're all so happy that you're here. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I know that there are many, many things going on in Madison tonight. So thank you for being at Tandem Press. I just want to introduce you to the Contemporary Jazz Ensemble, who are behind me here. And this program is directed by Chad McCullough. And you've heard him here before, and these amazing students from the school, Mead Witter School of Music. I mean, there are people here tonight who keep coming up to me saying, who are these students? They're so impressed by everything that you're all doing. So welcome to the second half, and I'll turn it over to Chad.
Before we start, I have an admission to make, and that is everybody up here, as much as I wish it was the case, is actually not a student of mine. What's that? Oh, it's okay. It's fine. I like to pretend I'm Steven Tyler and kind of hold the mic stand like a rock star. So we have tried to offer a scholarship to him, but he has declined it because he's too busy in Europe and too busy all over the world. This is one of my mentors. I spent most of my childhood days listening to his music on Blue Note Records. He has 3 Grammy nominations? 3? And is one of, I think I think it's not a stretch at all to say one of the best trumpet players in the world. So we are really, really excited to play the music from one of his iconic albums, one of many. This is our greatest hits from the album Audible Architecture, which came out in 1996 on Blue Note Records. So please put your hands together for Tim Higgins.
Chad is such a great friend and a great trumpet player, and you're so nice with these introductions. You know, the last time I played in Madison, Wisconsin, and I tried to find the itinerary, but I believe it was sometime in April, May of 1975. Most of you weren't even born yet, but. I've played other places, Lawrence and Milwaukee, but my first gig was with Stan Kenton. I started in 1974, and I was 19 years old, and I played 3 years with Stan, and we played Madison at least once. But it's nice to be back, you know, finally, after 40, you know. Once every 47 years, I guess. As Chad mentioned, I had the great opportunity to record for Blue Note Records, and one of those records was called Audible Architecture, because I close my eyes when I'm improvising and I see all sorts of crazy stuff. And sometimes even when I'm in a hotel room and I'm on the 120th floor looking out over the city, I practice and warm up trying to play melodies that portray the skyline, and sometimes looking at trees. There's nature's architecture there, and so I'm describing something visual in an audible way, so hence the title, Audible Architecture. Thank you for being here, supporting live music in this venue. Everyone here, you're all amazing for being here. How many people live in Madison? I mean, no, I realize that. I mean, what is the population of Madison? Out of 250,000 people, you all are the only ones that made the right decision what to do this evening. And thank you for being here and for being so smart to make that decision. And we hope you enjoy all of our wild eighth notes for peace and love. Thank you. I met all of these students earlier today. We had about a 2-hour discussion about the meaning of life and honesty and truth, and describing our lives up to the point we put air through the horn or hit the chord or the drums in musical terms. And I also told them that they're the future of this music, and I have so many years invested in this. It's been my whole life, you know. And I'm happy to see that the future is not only in good hands, but also in good valves, keys, drumsticks, slides, and you know. So it's really great to hear the level and the interest which they're demonstrating today. So thank you for, you know. I've had the wonderful opportunity to work with inspiring musicians all over the world, and probably the one, you know, in the group of people that inspired me the most was Bob Belden, and we were partners in harmonic, melodic, and rhythmic crimes for over 25 years. And not only was he an incredible saxophonist, but a composer, arranger, visionary. If you have, you all remember what CDs are, right? Yeah. If you have any box sets, Miles Davis reissue box sets that have been remastered and remixed, he was the producer and the brains behind all of those box sets. Unfortunately, he passed about 8 years ago, way too early. But when I was doing this recording, Audible Architecture, it's basically a trumpet trio record, bass, drums, and trumpet. And I wanted Bob to play on a couple of tunes because he told me he was going to stop playing tenor saxophone, and he was one of the most incredible tenor saxophonists. He said it was just getting too heavy to carry. And he wanted to just play the soprano saxophone. So I asked Bob to play on this record and only play tenor, because if he was serious, and one never knew, if he was serious, then I wanted to document his tenor saxophone playing once again. And he contributed to this next tune. He was from Goose Creek, South Carolina, and he wrote a suite dedicated to Charleston and Goose Creek, and 5 or 6 movements for big band. And this is the one he called Blues in My Neighborhood, about Goose Creek growing up. And it's a beautiful tune, and so we're going to play this for Bob, and you know, incredible memories. He was amazing. Blues in My Neighborhood. Many of the hello. Many of the songs that I wrote for Audible Architecture came from this weird little improvisational angular language that I play with. It just kind of developed naturally. And a lot of the songs I wrote without thinking about what they would be as a song. It was just melodic phrases. And later I found, I kind of had a list of them in my mind. I wrote down certain fragments, and then I put together a few tunes that used these fragments of melodies, and then had to figure out what time signature it was in, what key it was in, and to find some chords that worked to improvise over. And this is one of those tunes that started as just some weird little melodies that I was playing, and turned into a tune. I have 3 daughters. They're all flowers, Jasmine, Iris, and Lily. And this one is called Jasmine in 3. I wrote it when she was 8, but I remember that this melody kind of portrayed her vibe at 3, which was climbing all over the place. And, this melody seemed to fit that memory of her at 3 years old. So it's in 3/4. It's called Jasmine in 3.
Thank you. I was going to take the microphone out of the stand, but now I feel like contractually obliged to talk with the microphone. Expansions? So this is, as I said before, a really unique opportunity, and I think that I just want to thank the ensemble. I have abused them to no end this semester, and it started. They had to learn a whole bunch of really hard, weird, foreign folk music kind of stuff for a concert that we did a few weeks ago, and they somehow managed to do an incredible job. Probably because of the fact that I was gone for 3 weeks leading up to it. So, and then as soon as that was over, I was like, great, we have 2 rehearsals to put this concert together with Tim Higgins, and you are not scared enough. So get to work. And they have done a wonderful job. So please, I think it's well-deserved. Another round of applause for this ensemble. Colin, the second best-dressed member of the ensemble, loves long walks on the beach, is from Kingston, Jamaica, and is here playing trombone this evening. Owen, the best-dressed member of the ensemble, has a newly purchased suit that he got specifically for this concert. At Goodwill, good man. All right, all right. We're still working on the back line. That's Francis on the drums. I was going to say stand up, but maybe stay seated. That's maybe better. Hazael on the bass. Back there, we're working on. Nice. You got some chains. I like that. That's cool. Oh, they just left. And Jake Artang on the keyboard here. Yeah. Actually looking very nice also. Is that shark skin? Yeah. Is it stretchy? Oh. You know, years ago I called Tim in a panic, and I said, Tim, I look like an accountant on every gig. And he said, oh man, you got to get some Robert Graham shirts. So I did. And then he showed up. I picked him up at the hotel this morning, and I was like, oh man, I actually have that same shirt you're wearing. So luckily we didn't wear the same dress to the prom. This is, for those of you keeping track on your bingo scorecards, this is a 12-tone row, and it's called Drum Row. And there's some drums and a 12-tone row. Okay, thank you. this room. Okay, we're gonna do one. We're gonna do one more tune, but I think before we do, weird. I have no idea what to think right now. I'm totally sidetracked. Anyway, this is our last tune for the evening. A huge thank you to everybody at Tandem Press. Where's Paula? Where's Paula? We're not going to make Paula run from across the parking lot or wherever she came from last time, so that's totally fine. But she is wonderful, and everyone here is wonderful, and I think now would be the time to open your wallets and buy a ton of art. Well, after our last tune is the time. Thank you to this ensemble, and of course, a huge thank you to it's funny with jazz music. Like I'll like, not to sound weird, but a lot of the heroes like are kind of dead, and that's the reality, and so it's very strange. It's a strange feeling to stand next to somebody who sounds like all those records that I listened to of his, and so it's really an honor, and he has informed us all earlier today that he has at least 50 to 60 more years of playing. So yeah, Tim Higgins. I'm going to usurp the title of this tune and dedicate it to me and my upbringing in Seattle, where we all had to grow our hair very long and play our way out of garages in the early 90s. This song is, it's by Tim, and it's called Garage Bands.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Chad McCullough, students, and of course, our very special guest, Tim Higgins. Please join us back here on December 8th for our final concert of this year. Then we'll start up again in the spring. And in 2 weekends on December 2nd, we're also hosting our holiday open house where you can come see what goes on in the studio here at Tandem Press. We'll have printing demonstrations by all of our printers here at Tandem. So it's from 10 to 4 on December 2nd, so hopefully we'll see you there. Thank you again. Thanks for coming.